Okay, welcome everyone. We just turned on some Instagram and a little bit of Facebook Live. And welcome to our friends on Zoom as well. We have the perfect trifecta, Instagram, Facebook and Zoom. And of course, I'll be uploading this to YouTube a little bit later. So today's talk was an afterthought and a reaction, our discussion today, because of last week's class, which got, I would say, compared to most of the topics I give, got the most reaction from people afterwards. Because last week's discussion we had together, this time on Wednesday, was how to spot a narcissist. And what I did last week was, from my experience and readings and discussions with health professionals and my own counseling work, was the experience of dealing with narcissists. But before I got to that, I wanted to figure out, well, are you dealing with an actual narcissist? And that's something you got to try to figure out. Once we outlined what the narcissist personality is, which we did in great detail, I started to get, over the past week, a lot of messages, emails, texts, and WhatsApp messages as well, from people who expressed to me that they are dealing and have been dealing with a narcissist in their lives. A woman contacted me saying that after hearing last week's class, she realized that her mother was a narcissist. I mean, she knew something was off, but she could never put her finger on it. And all of the descriptions and red flags that came up last week were very applicable to her mother. Someone else told me they were dealing with a child that was a narcissist. And other people, actually, someone even reached out to my parents saying they heard the class and they thought that they were a narcissist. Why they contacted my parents about this, I'm not too sure, but they did nonetheless. So this is something, obviously, that resonated. I mean, besides dating classes I give, this probably generated the most reaction of people in a very visceral way. But many people asked me, well, you told us how to spot a narcissist. You told us what character traits narcissism brings with it and how it affects those people who live in the orbit, in the sphere of the narcissist. But how are we meant to deal with a narcissist? Are there any techniques or tools? And I realized that I better put together a list of ideas of how to deal with a person. So before we get to how to deal correctly with a narcissist, because I'm going to show you how not to deal with a narcissist, that actually is going to be half of our discussion today. There's certain things that you must try your utmost not to do when dealing with your boss. Oh, many people told me that their bosses were narcissists as well. There's things that you should definitely not do when dealing with a narcissist, whether a narcissist is a parent, a sibling, a friend, an employer, an employee, wherever they are in your life, there's things you really have to try your best not to do. So before we get to that point, and then I'll tell you how to deal with them, let's define our term. What exactly is a narcissist? So there's a number of qualities we picked up last week, but they all kind of like revolve around one main trait. And that is, the narcissist will always see themselves as superior to everybody else. Now, there's different ways you can make yourself feel superior. You could lift yourself up and have good self-esteem. Well, that should make you superior, but that should make you feel good about yourself. Narcissists, it seems as though they have good self-esteem, but they don't. They don't, because what a narcissist always wants to do is to make you feel inferior. You're just not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not wise enough. You're not good looking enough. You don't dress well enough. Whatever your particular narcissist is using to propel themselves and make themselves superior, in the end, everybody, and I mean everybody, spouses, children, friends, employees, whoever they are always inferior. So that is the image that we're dealing with. I try to find characters which maybe you can relate to, fictional characters. We all know real characters who suffer from this disease of narcissism. I'm a big fan of the Peanuts cartoons, Charlie Brown. I think I've mentioned it before in classes. I have I had many books by Charles Schulz, who I was a big fan of as a kid and still am. There's a lot of wisdom that he implanted, and actually a lot of personality traits that you can see. For example, Charlie Brown is the classic character who's suffering from chronic low self-esteem, and very low self-worth. But Lucy, the psychiatrist, you remember her? Well, she has a little sign up, who's always got the ball that Charlie Brown wants to kick, the football, and she always pulls it away and always falls down and lands on his other regions. So that she definitely displays narcissistic tendencies. And, Charles Schultz did a great job of it to some degree. She's always criticizing other people, always making people feel inferior, never coaching people, never admitting to mistakes. And if she ever does, she kind of goes back and says, no, it wasn't my mistake, it was your mistake. Any failures I have are because of you, Charlie Brown, and you, Linus, and the clouds, right? She's out there in outfield, and a big pop fly goes up in the air in baseball, and she drops it, and she can never take responsibility for her mistakes. The sun got in my eyes, and if it's a cloudy day, says Charlie Brown, then the clouds got in her eyes, and it's too cold, too hot. She just can't own it. And everything is always somebody else's fault. And if you made yourself better, my life could be better. If you want an image of someone, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, that is such a character. These people make everyone feel inferior, and they really hurt people. And people who are stuck with them in relationships especially suffer greatly at their hands. But there are certain things that we can do to minimize the pain, to minimize the challenge and the inferiority they're always trying to implant on us. So let's first of all talk about games. We all like to play games, don't we? We all like to play chess or Scrabble or my wife's favorite, Candy Crush, that she's on, I don't know, level 40,000, whatever she's on right now. I don't really get it. But we all like to play games. And games are a good thing. But there's a game, my friends. There's a game that narcissists love to play. And they enjoy it. But whoever plays this game with them does not enjoy it. And the game that narcissists like to play is what I call gotcha. Gotcha! What's gotcha? What is that? So narcissists, one of the things they always do, as we mentioned last week, is they always try to poke at you and get a reaction. They love it. Nothing the narcissist wants more than from all their nudging and complaining and criticizing, oh, they love to criticize, is to get a reaction. That's their fuel. That's what keeps them going. That's what gives them, as we say in Hebrew, chiyut. It gives them life. It sounds so weird. Why would criticizing other people make them so happy? But it does. It gives them enjoyment. It's a perverted pleasure that every narcissist has. And the way they do it is to push and criticize, and eventually you're going to break. It's going to happen. And when you break, you get angry. Getting angry is when they can turn around and be like, gotcha. I told you you're unstable. I told you can't just have a normal conversation. I've been telling you this for years. You can't even control yourself. Look at you. You're red-faced and you're shouting and you're screaming. And they gotcha. And they really did. So what they love to do is to get you angry and to get a reaction. And getting angry is understandable because they're really, really annoying and frustrating. And they don't take rebuke. I wouldn't say well at all. Narcissists cannot turn around to you and be like, you're never going to narcissist say, that's a really good point. I think I need to work on myself. They just don't say that. They don't even think it. They don't even realize that they're in that world of narcissism. I mean, many people responded on Facebook and private messages say, tell me, if I played this class to my mother, my friend, would they understand and would they be able to identify themselves as having this disease of narcissism? And the truth is, it's highly unlikely. I mean, I am the first person to believe that people can change. Even the worst character traits are fixable. For some people, it may take weeks, months, some people years, I don't know, maybe decades. But everyone can change. But the narcissist, for some reason, and this is another discussion, it's so deeply rooted. Whether they were born that way or made that way, that's a whole talk in of itself. But it's so inside who they are, but the narcissist does not leave any room. There's no bandwidth for self-improvement, for any reflection whatsoever. So you showing them this video, describing to them, or giving them 1,000 proofs is not going to work. Like, what are you talking about? What are you saying about me? This is more about you than it's about... And they're always going to find a way, and they're very good at this, to flip it. And once you react to that anger, they gotcha. They gotcha. And there's nothing you can say to them. Because at that moment, they were right. Because you lost it on them. And they prove themselves superior because they can control themselves. And you're inferior because you cannot control your emotions. Now, getting angry makes sense. Why do people get angry? So there's 3 reasons that people get angry. Number 1 is they try to preserve their sense of worth. And that's a good thing. We all have self-worth, which we're going to talk about more in a few moments, which is really important and one of the best ways to combat a narcissist. But we have self-worth. We are good, right? We've been through a lot and we all have faults, but we're good people. So when we get angry, we're trying to preserve it. We want to keep that. We don't want someone chipping away at that or removing it. We want to keep that. And when we get attacked, by the narcissist especially, or anybody really, we want to preserve that aspect of who we are. Number 2, we get angry to show that we have needs. I have needs and my needs are not being met right now. And therefore, I'm going to try to shout at you and scream at you, maybe even punch you because I'm so angry that you're not understanding that I have needs, I'm a person. And the narcissist is going to turn around and be like, yeah, you have needs, but they're not very good, are they? I mean, really? That's how you're going to act? Well, you're a 5-year-old. They're very, very good at that. They gotcha. And number 3, we get angry to show that we have good convictions. We have convictions, and our convictions are good. But if you're not hearing them, and I'm going to have to just shout louder and scream and throw things and walk out of the house and not talk to you or whatever it is. And the narcissist is able to control themselves and be like, well, obviously, I was right about you. You are inferior. You're like a big baby. You can't even talk about things nicely. Look at you shouting and screaming and your veins are bulging on your head. What a pathetic character you are. So they feed off your anger. It's like the Dementors, right, in Harry Potter. They feed off it. They know you're there and they suck it out of you. You all have that feeling of those people in your lives who just suck the emotional goodness out of you. And you start your day so well and it's all go great and you come into conflict and you lose it with these people, these narcissists, and it just sucks everything away. So getting angry is understandable. And it comes from, it's going to sound weird, it comes from a good place. You're trying to, when you get angry, you're trying to readdress an imbalance that's been created by this other person. And we all try to do it. But when it comes down to it, it's usually highly ineffective. And so we all lose our tempers sometimes. But we know you're not helping the situation. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're giving them fuel. You're fueling the fire that they are attacking you with, because anger is a killer. So anger is the way to make the above 3 happen. So you can suppress your anger, but with a narcissist, you're suppressing it from fear, right? You're scared about what the narcissist is going to do to you if you don't react to them the way you want to. Because narcissists have one mission. And if you hear this, it was worth you tuning in today. And that is the narcissist wants to invalidate you. They want to invalidate you. They want you to think that you are nothing. You're stupid, you're bad, you're ignorant. Everything you do is wrong. And they're going to keep making that invalidation again and again and again. Anger is just proof to them that you are invalidated. because you obviously have no argument to validate yourself. Okay? They don't want to validate your feelings in a fight, right? You don't. Narcissists are the last ones to learn something from someone else. Okay? When you get into a fight with a narcissist, you'll find them saying such things as, just to give you a clue, you just don't know what you're talking about. Just shut up and listen to me. You're an idiot. And they will make these expressions and all those shut you down because that's what they want to do. Because you're not someone I can learn from. You're nothing. You're an idiot. There's nothing I can learn from you. You're just a shouting, screaming baby. That's how they make you feel, which ironically makes you more angry. So what should you do? How are you meant to react? Well, there's certain things, listen well, my friends, there's certain things that you can do in order to push the narcissist away. And the way to react to them, if you're able to in that heated moment, is say to them when they make their criticisms, I'd like to understand what you want me to know. Explain to me by this criticism, what exactly do you want me to know? And you can say that forcefully, but you're not in anger. You're making a qualified point. This line that I've just given you, I'd like to understand what you want me to know about this thing, this idea, this job, whatever it is. This has removed the confrontation, which remember, they love confrontation. Don't be defensive, because that's our natural thing. We want to preserve ourselves, right? You want to say, I have a perspective, and this is what it is. You're just basically just explaining it to them. I want to share with you a fundamental thought, and I really want you to listen to this, because we're all going to come into contact with people who have various levels of narcissism and narcissistic tendencies. And I truly, truly believe this, because I've seen many people learn to react well to a narcissist. Okay, short of just walking out of their life, which may be ideal, but sometimes impractical, because they're a spouse, they're a sibling, they're a child, they're a parent. You can't escape from these relationships. Okay, so I want to give you a fundamental thought. And this thought is true for every single person. If you really hear this, that is, you are able to handle a narcissist in your life, right, without completely removing them, because as we said, it's impractical, because you have a superpower. You have a superpower that is what I would call the kryptonite, if you remember from your Superman days, kryptonite that goes against a narcissist. And it's going to be very easy for me to say it, but to live up to this is going to be work. It's going to take effort. But if you can master this, and it takes time, it takes work, but if you're able to do this, and you may need outside help to give you this superpower, but the superpower that can defeat the narcissist in your life is self-trust. You've got to learn to trust yourself. You've got to feel as though, I know I am good. I know that everything this person's throwing at me, all this criticism that I'm getting day in and day out that I receive for weeks, months, years, I hear it, but I know better than them that I'm a good person and I trust myself. Now, there's no perfect solutions. You're always going to lose it with a narcissist, and they're going to try other ways to get you, because they will find various chinks in your armor to get through and get to you. And that's going to be true. But even if you can hold off on 80 from 100 attacks, 50 from 100, your day, my friends, I promise you, is going to be better. And self-trust is where this is. And so you may not be able to remove the narcissism from that person. So don't even try. It's highly unlikely. They've got to want to change. But there's certain things you can do to tweak your reactions and your behaviors and your belief system that will work. I truly believe it. I've seen it work. And people have told me that their lives have become much better once they've taken on this defense system. Humans are resilient. We can bounce back. I've seen people in chronically terrible situations that most of you wouldn't even believe they're in, and yet we're strong and we're able to return from a place of no hope to a place of greatness and creativity. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in the change process, because narcissists are waiting on tenterhooks for you to screw up. Because once you screw up, they are going to come and get you. So you have to feel a sense of self-worth. The more worth you instill in yourself, the more trust and belief you have in yourself, that they say I'm like this, but I know I'm not. I know I'm able to validate myself. If you're able to do that, you're in a much better place. And there's various types of narcissists. Some narcissists are going to shout and scream at you. Some narcissists are more passive aggressive. Some are going to give you the silent treatment just to break you. And they're good at that. All of them have the same response. I don't deserve this. I believe in myself and I have self-worth. Okay? They want, we mentioned this last week, the narcissist wants to mold you into their creature, into their pet, who's going to jump at their command. That is such narcissistic behavior. And you have to have the self-worth and courage to say, no, I'm not going to be doing that, because I know what's right. I know that's wrong. I know the way you're criticizing me is not a reflection of who I am, but how you think or try to say that I am, but that's not me. I feel good. Because according to the narcissist, and this is also very important, you are someone who cannot be trusted. I don't trust you to do that. You're an idiot. I don't trust you to deliver something. I don't trust you to take on that project. I don't trust you to be a good parent. I don't trust you to be a good child. They're always trying to bring down, and eventually you fall like, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not a good parent, child, mother, friend, business partner, whatever it is. So what you need to do is have belief, emunah, trust in yourself. Because when you're able to say, I love other people like I love myself, loving yourself, right? The Haftarech Kamocha is the beginning. It's the middle and it's the end. But that takes effort and work. Because when you allow the narcissist to push your buttons, you are eventually going to react. And the reaction rarely is good for you and is always good for the narcissist. You really helped and let them win. Okay? So trusting yourself, self-trust, self-belief is the kryptonite. So that takes us to the next question on our journey over here. And that is, so how do we know that we can believe in ourselves? Maybe we can't. Maybe the narcissist is right. So there's various things you're going to have to buy into in order for this to work. And each one of these is a whole talk in of itself, but is so important. Number one, you have to believe that inherently we have self-worth and dignity, because the narcissist doesn't want you to have that. You also have competent. You're a competent person. You may be not competent in everything, but those things that you are competent in, you're able to keep a competence in and feel good about yourself for that. Okay? You have to live into that. When you fail, we all make mistakes, and we can recover, right? Even a tzaddik, a righteous person, Yipol Sheva Pamim, falls down, makes mistakes. There is no one who doesn't sin in this world. There is no one who makes mistakes, okay? But you have to buy into the fact that I made a mistake and I can improve from it. Because the narcissist is going to use that. They're going to use that against you in order to make you play their game. And remember, their game is, you are invalidated. Your existence does nothing for the world. You are inferior and I am superior. And they're going to keep that on by pushing you down and down. Eventually you're going to snap, but only if you want to. You're able to keep yourself. So when I listen very carefully, when a narcissist offers criticism, you need to respond. I trust myself. And the criticism says more about the narcissist than it does about me. And when they give you contempt and disdain, you need to say, I trust myself. I trust myself that I am a good person. I'm doing the right thing. When they argue and they insist that you conform to what they're trying to mold you into, you need to say, I trust myself, and there's no need to conform to their vision and their ideals, which are rarely beneficial for you as a person. When they try to redirect you towards what they see fit, which they're always trying to do, they're trying to pigeonhole you and push you into what they see, You need to say to yourself, I trust myself and I don't need the narcissist blessings. If you're waiting for the narcissist to give you a bracha, a blessing, that everything's okay, it's not going to work. It's only going to lead down. And if they want to bully you, you need to say to yourself, I know the value of boundaries and stipulations, and I'm going to put down a fence, and this narcissist is not going to get through. I'm going to hold them back. I don't want them here. And when the narcissist tries to spread false lies about you to other people, when they try to besmirch your reputation, which is infuriating and annoying and can make you feel crazy and mad and make you lose your temper, when the narcissist does that to your face or behind your back, and you hear it second hand, third hand, fourth hand, you need to believe in yourself, and you need to feel that people won't accept this. And the truth always has a way to find its way to the top. And if people want the truth about you, they can figure it out. Because most normal, healthy people know you're a good person. And they know you're a person of value and worth. And so the truth will come out. And you trying to step ahead or against the narcissist, try to fix it, is not necessary. You have to believe that good people will see the good. And if this person is a narcissist towards you, they're a narcissist towards them and everyone else. So they know the truth if they want it. Okay? Because being me, truthful to myself, can be inspiring and soothing and calming, and it can give me hope. And people can learn from you. People will see how you react to this individual, and they'll be able to learn from you how to deal with the narcissist who exists in their lives as well. So this, my friends, is your superpower against the narcissist. One, don't get angry. Don't react, because it's only going to make it worse for you and better for them, because they love that. So the kryptonite that you can use against them is, I feel good. I have self-worth. And you can claim this. You can claim this as your own. Now, this is easier said than done, but sometimes we need outside help because we've been beaten down so much by the narcissists and others in our lives, whether they did it passively or overtly or aggressively, that we need an outsider, a counselor, a therapist, just to give us a brain check of it, a reality check, because we have fallen into this false negative reality that this narcissist has created about us. And it's never very, very good, okay? Because the narcissist can mess with your head. They will make you really feel as though you are inferior. And they'll push you down, and they'll use their criticism. And they'll use their invalidating techniques to make sure that you don't come up again. Because if you do come up and you have belief in yourself, they don't know how to react to that. They are lost. Narcissists hate people who have good self-worth. They don't know how to react to them because you've dismantled their entire being, their entire essence. Okay? So the question is, do you trust yourself? Do you live inside the trust that's in yourself? Right? Because you can become and lead a calm and firm life. And we all deserve that. We don't deserve, I've heard many people express this in different ways. And one of the ways I heard someone point this out was, this person, this narcissist I'm living with, is always in my head. I can't get him out. I'm always walking on eggshells and living a life of shame when I'm around them and I'm with them, And these people aren't thinking about you. You're just another one of the projects they're kind of working on. That means the narcissist gets to live in your head 24/7, rent-free. Now, is that what you want? Do you want someone living in your head 24/7, rent-free? If they're going to live there, at least have them pay rent. No, it's not worth the price. It really isn't. Your sanity, your tranquility, your serenity is not worth any price. At some point, you've just got to check out. And the narcissist doesn't want you to because they need you as their pet project. And therefore, you've got to get them out of your head. And people are walking around all the time with this person and the thoughts of how to deal with this individual in their head. And you don't want to do that. Who wants to live such a way with this person living in their head, constantly having this inner voice that's constantly inside your head telling you you're inferior so that they can feel superior? And so narcissists live like this and they thrive on this. It's their life force. But you have the power through self-worth and through goodness and trust and belief in yourself to fight off this narcissist. Their power is broken. Their spell disappears from upon you and inside your head when you act this way. That, my friends, is the best way and the healthiest way to deal with a narcissist. Pushing back, fighting, arguing just feeds into them and proves their narcissism. What you want to do is to believe in yourself, have self-worth, feel good about yourself, and the more, my friends, you have of that, the more of a good, calm, soothing life you will be able to live. Okay? Thank you for joining us, and God willing, we'll pick this up next week. Next Wednesday, God willing, we will be discussing 8 types of people that you want to isolate from in 2021. And I think that our friend the narcissist is going to make an appearance over there. God willing, we'll see that next week, Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Thank you everyone for joining. Wishing you all a wonderful and successful day.